Sambonani Tobela Dumelang, Goeiemiddag, Nda Molweni, and good afternoon, South Africa. Has South Africa been trumped by US President Donald Trump, who says that he will not be coming to the G20 Summit that's going to be held in South Africa? So is this the tensions that are arising and intensifying between South Africa and the US, or is this just simply a political game? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, but let's watch this video together.
Communist tyranny in South Africa. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in parts of South Africa, look at South Africa, what's going on. Look at South America, what's going on. You know, I'm not going to, we have a G20 meeting in South Africa. South Africa shouldn't even be in the Gs anymore because what's happened there is bad. I'm not going. I told him I'm not going. I'm not going to represent our country there. It shouldn't be there.
So a bit of a spicy one there by Mr. Trump. But anyway, welcome to the William Moises Show, where it's all about engaging with current events, exposing the lies and the corruption so that healing can happen and take place, and more so to equip, educate, to empower, and of course to encourage you, the young people of South Africa, to become everything that God has called you to be, so that we can rebuild the country from the ground up, fix the country from the ground up. Because I think you and I would both agree that we would love to live in a prosperous, righteous, revived and restored nation. Again, South Africa is the greatest country ever, not because of our politics, because that's an absolute mess of note, but because God, uNkulunkulu yena, die Here God, has got a purpose, a plan, and a destiny for this nation, which basically means that God has got a purpose, a plan, and a destiny for you watching. And those plans are to prosper us, not to harm us, plans to give us a hope and a future. So let's get into just a few articles, and then I want to dive into a couple of ideas that I would love to share with all of you here today. So according to Reuters, Trump says no US government official will attend the G20 Summit in South Africa. It also says the reason for that is because of the human rights abuses, because those abuses continue, referring to land seizures and violence against Afrikaners. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down there below. Use the comment section as your virtual voice, as well as when you get a revelation or aha moment in these next few moments over here, let me know what stood out for you in this particular video. So how do you and I, again, essentially as young people in this beautiful country, respond to things like this? We see what's happening with regards to South Africa. We see what's happening at a global scale as well. How do you and I kind of navigate this accordingly? And I'm so glad that your pinky toe was thinking that, because I'd love to share a few ideas and points and concepts with all of us here namhlanje today. So with that being said, there are things in life that you and I can control, and then there are things in life that you and I cannot control. Okay? There are things in life that you and I can change, and then there are things in life that you and I can't change. And the idea is to start focusing on things that you can control and to start focusing on things that you can change, rather than focusing on things that you can't control and things that you can't change. For example, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, what can't I change? Well, you can't change what someone else does to you. You can't really influence. You can maybe influence, but you can't really control what someone else says about you or thinks about you or posts about you. You and I can't control any of those things. However, our response towards them, that is something that we do ultimately have influence over. And God is more than willing to help us in this process. Like, we can't control what Donald Trump says about South Africa. We can't control what the world posts about South Africa. However, how you and I respond to all of this, okay, that matters. That is something that you and I can ultimately control and change. We can focus on things that we can change. For example, the amount of effort we put into rebuilding this beautiful country, the amount of time that we spend rebuilding this country, the amount of time that we spend learning and using what we essentially have. We can control that. And the amazing thing is that God is there to partner with us, to help us in this rebuilding project and fixing project of this beautiful country, because it's going to take effort. It's going to take time. It's going to take some sacrifice here and there, but God is with us. And if we would allow Him to strengthen us, to help us, to guide us, and to lead us, we can see some tremendous change happening moving forward. And I want to make a key observation over here, and that is simply this: how you and I treat each other is how we will ultimately either destroy the country or essentially rebuild it. Because we should be treating others the way we would want to be treated. So if you don't like being lied to, then don't lie to others. If you don't like being stolen from, don't steal from others. If you don't like being disrespected, then don't disrespect others. Keep on walking in the light. Keep on walking in the ways of God's love. And by the way, that doesn't mean that we become passive and never confront evil and never resist evil. The ideas of anti-freedom, anti-future South Africa, anti-family, anti-faith, those are ideas that must be absolutely resisted. Because again, when I say walk in the ways of love, how do you actually love someone? You love someone not by lying to them, you love someone by telling them the truth in love. So for example, our beautiful daughter, I love her to bits. She means so much to me and so much to mommy over there, my beautiful spouse, my beautiful wife. Hashtag get married and have loads of kids. Okay, it'll change your life forever. With that being said, when I say that I love my daughter, if I see that she's about to put her hand on the hot stove, I should warn her and tell her, no, my girl, if you put your hand there, you're going to burn your hands. And then you're not going to be able to play with your dolls, paint and do all the things that you actually love to do because you've burnt your hands. So I would tell her in love, I would warn her in love, okay, not to do A, B, C, D, and E. It's the same with you and I. We need to hold each other accountable. So when we see someone doing wrong, we need to also have the moral courage to go to them and to point out A, B, C, D, and E. But before we even do that, we need to start with ourselves first, to remove the plank from our own eyes so that we can help our brother and sister with the speck in their eyes. Hence, it all starts again with you and I coming back to God, which is something, by the way, you and I can change. You might have been moving away from God, and now you can make the change and you can come closer to Him. And as we draw near to Him, He draws near untowards us. Because again, when you and I change, things change. Why? Because when we are transformed, when we are changed from the inside out, rather than being forcefully changed or transformed, but we are transformed by God's grace from the inside out. Now, because we are changed, we approach things differently. Because we approach things differently, we end up having different results. And that's how the whole thing ultimately works. Okay? So you and I need to start focusing on things that we can change rather than focusing on things that we cannot change. We are supposed to be focusing on things that we can control compared to trying to focus on things that you and I can't control. Okay? We can't control what the US says about South Africa, but how you and I respond towards this, all right, makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. So use your decision-making power to make different decisions and decide to follow the truth, decide to follow eternal wisdom, decide to follow prudence, discernment, all right, and use what you have. Use what is in your hands, Campeones, because we as the young people of this beautiful nation can make different decisions, and we can decide to follow an inspired vision and mission from God. All right. As you journey with Him, He reveals to you who He is. He reveals to you who you are. He reveals to you what you've been called into, that duty, that service, that purpose that God has called you into. And therefore, brick by brick, day by day, week by week, month by month, we can become a part and be a part of the rebuilding that God wants to bring towards this beautiful nation. Your life matters. Your marriage matters. That business idea that you have that's going to serve people and bless people and uplift people, it matters. Get going, get moving, start initiating, start producing, start creating. Let's stop waiting on the government to nanny us, and let's step into our duty. Let's step into our service. Let's step into what God has ultimately called us all into. Remember, side note over here, remember, dependency is the key that a corrupt government uses to keep people in slavery. Why? Because dependent people are desperate people, and dependent and desperate people are easier to control compared to people that take responsibility, that follow Jesus Christ, and that step into their duty and into their service. Your time is now, Campione. Let's be a part of the rebuilding and the fixing of this beautiful nation. South Africa's dying, and you and I have an opportunity to literally rebuild her from scratch. But it starts with you, that personal transformation, so that you can take that transformation into your family, into your community, into the city, into the country, through the very work and purpose and service that God has ultimately called you into. that's our time for today. Thank you guys for watching. Please like the video, drop your comments down below, subscribe. A lot of you that are watching aren't subscribed, so please, you do me a massive favor if you would get subscribed over there, and share this video far and wide. And more so, also get in touch with us today at King and Me, where we can get you activated, where we can get you empowered, where we can get you equipped so that you can become the man or the woman that God has essentially called you to be. Until next time, in the meantime, in between time, just know today, namhlanje, that your voice matters.